Even though the water doesn't look very attractive, Kristin Romey is getting ready to dive into plunge into the depths. Right above her head is a big hint as to why she's putting herself through this torture. Hello everyone. In this video, we will talk about how divers investigating a pyramid that is 2,300 years old have found the underwater tomb of a powerful pharaoh. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. Let's get started. In this part of the north of Sudan, there is a pyramid that is a memorial to a long-gone king and hints at a country that once ruled over a lot of northern Africa. When Romey and her co-worker get to their goal, they find something amazing. A man lies under the pyramid, but he's not just any man. More than 2,000 years ago, a king of Nubia was buried here. Now, an archaeologist who has studied Romeo goes down a staircase cut into the rock. She only has a tiny tank of air if she needs it. At the bottom of the stairs, Pierce is waiting for Romey. Another researcher who works with the help of a National Geographic grant is Paul Kristin. He says hello to his co-worker, but tells him that the water is very deep today. In the first area, there won't be any room to move, and Kristin is already up to his chest in dirty water. Kristin broke into Nastissen's tomb for the first time just a few weeks ago. Now, he and Romey will go down into the 3 rooms together to check out a casket that seems to have been left alone for hundreds of years. Before the two reach their goal, Kristin shows Romey a metal grate and tells her that she will have to squeeze through a small hole to get into the catacomb. The tomb of the two Nuri is also close to the east bank of the Nile River, which is north of Khartoum, the capital of Sudan. Around 760 BC, the Kushites took control of all of Egypt and tried to leave their mark on the land. The 5 black pharaohs especially looked to the past for ideas. Even though the gold production of the kingdom made it hard to overlook, and even though the black pharaohs were driven out of Egypt by the Neo-Assyrians in the 7th century BC, they continued to rule their desert land until the 4th century AD. It is thought that Pharaoh Taharka was the first king to be buried at Nuri. His pyramid is still the biggest in the area. Even after Kush had been buried by the sands for many years, Taharka's descendants kept using the place as a cemetery. So, at the start of the 20th century, Reisner went to Nuri to dig into Taharka's tomb. The Egyptologist also drew drawings of the other buildings in the area. He also found something important at the site. The Nile's water in the underground would make it hard to study the site anymore. But Reisner didn't even bother to post the results of his research at Nuri, so the site didn't get much attention. Archaeologists didn't pay much attention to Nuri because the site was so big and because many of the tombs could be underground. Sudan had never tried underwater archaeology before 2018, so an archaeologist with the right skills turned his attention to Nuri. Kristin has had more experience than Reisner with underwater digging, and he also knows a lot about Egyptian history. Kristin has done most of his work in Thebes and the Valley of the Kings. For his work, the Royal Geographical Society has even given him prizes. When Kristin went to Nuri, he looked at the tomb of Nastissen, who was king of Kush between 335 BC and 315 BC. As the last ruler to have his tomb on the spot, Nastissen got the least attractive piece of land. But that didn't stop the Arch-Nastissen, who ruled at the end of the Napatan culture when the center of Nubian power moved to the Marrow. This change would make the Napatan house and other would-be royals fight over who would rule Kush. This was a big change from Nastissen's reign, when he had strong control over a large area. When an Egyptian king named Kabash struck Kush, Masterson showed that he was in charge. The ambush didn't go well for Kabash either. The Nubian forces beat him and his men back and took away a lot of his wealth and naval forces. Even though Nastissen isn't very well known, historians know a bit about this war. Later, the stela was found in the northern Sudanese city of Dongola, which is on the Nile. The latest Egyptian hieroglyphs are also cut into the stone. The writing on the stone is a celebration of the Black Pharaoh's victory. The archaeologist fought through this chute to get into the tomb, and as he did so, He almost went blind. Then, when the divers were inside the grave chamber, they could finally see the coffin, which was a huge stone box that held Nastassen's remains. But they would have to wait a year before they could look inside. The pit that Reisner's partner dug a long time ago would also have to be looked into in the future. Kristin told the BBC that the place where Nastassen was buried has 3 rooms with beautiful arched ceilings. If your flashlights are not on, they will show you what's inside. Thankfully, it was worth the trouble to get into the chambers. Kristin told Newsday that not all of the Baptists had been taken, and the gold gifts were still there. He said the small glass figures covered in gold were still there, even though the water had broken up the glass. Also, the small strands of gold that the archaeologists found pointed to a story that could be interesting. It seemed like the water might have stopped thieves from breaking into the tomb. Artists from the Cushitic culture not only made jewelry from scratch, but they also used gold leaf to decorate places of worship and figures. The gold trade made the nation rich and gave Kush some power in the countries near it. A few years before Kristin's trip, archaeologists dug up a site in northern Sudan that they thought was important for Kush's gold business. There, they found stones that could have been used to crush gold ore and get flakes of the valuable metal. Nuri will, without a doubt, find more things. If Kristin's group can find the tomb of Nastassen, they might also find Untu. That's it for today. What do you think about this incredible discovery? Let us know in the comment section. Please like and share our videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates.